Welcome to a tale that begins with a simple farmer and a mystery that unfolded over 8 months. Imagine this: a quiet morning on the farm, the sun casting golden rays across the fields, and yet something or someone was missing. A beloved cow named Daisy had vanished without a trace, leaving behind an emptiness that no amount of searching seemed to fill. But just when all hope seemed lost, fate stepped in with an answer so unexpected it defied belief. What happened next is a story of connection, resilience, and the extraordinary bonds that can form where we least expect them. Stay with me as we journey through this remarkable tale, one that will remind you just how wondrous life's surprises can be. Let's begin. Farmer finds missing cow after 8 months. When he gets closer, he turns pale. But before we start, smash the like button, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our upcoming stories. It was Daisy, one of his favorite cows, which he thought to have lost on a bleak morning 8 months prior. With each passing month and no sign of his beloved cow, he had gradually lost all hope. Each sunny day served as a stark memory of his favorite cow's loss. Bill was looking forward to ending his day with a relaxing read, catching the last rays of sunshine from the comfort of his hammock, with a cheerful tune echoing in his mind, a melody from a song he had heard on the radio earlier that day. Bill was busily tending to his fields. He decided to take a quick walk to check on the cows in the south pasture. He whistled as he walked towards his cows, eager to see them again. Every morning, the sight of his cows made his eyes light up. Over the years, they had formed a morning ritual, but this morning there was only silence. The cows were unusually quiet, and Daisy wasn't there. His heart began to beat faster in his chest, and a sense of dread started seeping into Bill. He started counting again. 1, 2, 3. He continued until he reached the last cow, 53. It was true, Daisy, his favorite cow, was missing. With a knot in his stomach, he hurried to the barn, praying that Daisy would be there safe and sound. But all he found was an empty spot where Daisy usually rested. Her absence turned the usually cheerful barn into a place filled with worry. There was no sign of Daisy. Refusing to give up, he made his way to the fields that Daisy loved to wander. He searched every inch, his eyes scanning the landscape for any sign of his beloved cow. But Daisy wasn't there either. As a small-time farmer, he knew just how crucial his cows were to him. Bill decided to spend the rest of the day looking for Daisy. His entire focus was on finding Daisy. He trudged through his fields, calling out Daisy's name. He checked every nook and corner of his farm, hoping to find Daisy hiding somewhere. But as the sun set, there was still no sign of Daisy. He visited the spots Daisy liked, the shady tree under which she loved to rest, the small pond where she liked to drink, but Daisy was nowhere to be found. She was the first calf he had raised when he started his farm, and over the years she had become like a friend to him. To lose his most treasured cow would be heartbreaking. What if a predator had gotten in and spooked the cows, or maybe he had forgotten to latch the gate properly? He couldn't imagine it, but still, every possibility raced through his head. Refusing to give up, Bill decided to involve the whole town in his search. He made posters with Daisy's picture and put them up all over the town. He asked everyone he met if they had seen Daisy, but no one had. Days turned into weeks, and there was still no sign of Daisy. The whole town was filled with posters of Daisy, a constant reminder of her absence. He kept on searching, kept on calling out Daisy's name, praying each day for her safe return. His heart sank lower with each passing day that brought no signs of Daisy's return. Every time he caught sight of the empty pasture, it triggered a fresh wave of anguish. During his breaks, he would often find himself lingering in the south pasture, almost expecting Daisy to reappear from behind a hill. But the pasture remained empty. Bill started avoiding walking past that field, the wound too fresh to confront. Instead, he worked on distant parts of the farm, trying to lose himself in the day's chores. As autumn's chill crept across the land, Bill resigned himself to the fact that Daisy was likely gone forever, though questions still plagued his mind. He tried to focus on caring for the remaining cows who still relied on him for their well-being. But he felt the absence of Daisy's soulful brown eyes that used to follow him as he did his chores. Winter settled over the farm, covering it in a white blanket of snow that concealed any remnants of the events from the previous summer. As Bill made his way through the barn, attending to the animals on cold mornings, his thoughts drifted to Daisy, wondering if she was warm wherever she might be. Though the absence of Daisy was still felt, the pain gradually faded with time. That is until one morning 8 months later, when Bill awoke to the first whispers of spring, the gentle sound of melting ice outside his window and the warm embrace of sunlight after months of bitter cold. Stepping outside to savor the fresh air, his heart skipped a beat as he spotted something in the distance. Cautiously, he crept closer, branches crunching underfoot, afraid that any sudden movement might make her vanish as quickly as she had appeared. He could hardly dare to believe that it was true. Was he really seeing her there after all these months? "Daisy," he called out gingerly. Those soulful brown eyes he knew so well left no doubt. It was Daisy. After all these months, his beloved companion had returned. He scanned her carefully for any sign of injury or illness. But instead of trotting over to greet him, she remained rooted in place, regarding Bill with wary eyes. Puzzled by her odd behavior, he took a cautious step forward. "It's okay, girl. It's just me." But Daisy only backed further away, lowering her head in an aggressive stance. Bill was alarmed to see she was poised to charge if he came any nearer. His gentle Daisy, always welcoming, was now warning him off with an intensity he hadn't seen before. This wasn't the Daisy he loved and raised. "What's going on, sweetheart?" Bill said with a soft voice, trying to calm her down with a soft lullaby he used to sing at his farm. His heart swelled with a joy he hadn't felt in months. Bill knew it was dangerous, but he decided to take a few cautious steps closer. So as he carefully made his way toward Daisy, he observed a dramatic change in his usually calm and gentle cow. Daisy was showing signs of protectiveness, her body angled just so, creating a shield over a particular spot by her side. Daisy had changed. As he carefully moved closer, a weird quiet sound started filling the quiet field. It was a new sound, happening now and then, coming from the place Daisy was carefully watching. Daisy's eyes tracked his every movement, her protective stance unwavering. It was an animal of some sort, but he couldn't quite make out what it was. Its small furry body was nestled against his cow's belly. He noticed something odd about the baby animal. Despite the blistering summer heat, the young one was swaddled in a luxuriously thick fur coat. Bill could hardly bear the sight before him. The creature, small and delicate, was clearly in pain. Each attempt it made to stand up was futile. It would try to rise, only to fall back down, letting out soft whimpers. With a sinking heart, Bill understood that he had to act fast to save this little life. His instinct was to reach out and soothe the creature. Every time he edged nearer, the creature would let out a cry of alarm, an explicit request for him to keep his distance. As he stood helplessly, Bill decided to call the local animal rescue team, praying that they could intervene swiftly. He could see the creature weakening further, its life force ebbing with every passing minute. The hours felt like days as Bill tried to help the creature. He brought soft blankets to make it comfortable. He knew that he had to stay strong for the animal's sake. As the day wore on, Bill maintained a calm presence, trying to soothe the frightened creature as best as possible. Finally, as dusk settled over the farm, animal rescue personnel arrived. The team approached slowly and began assessing the animal's condition. In hushed voices, they conferred with each other, occasionally casting puzzled looks back at the creature resting beside Daisy. As the team prepared to depart, Bill's curiosity mounted. He needed to get some answers about the mystery of his missing cow and the strange creature accompanying it, but first he wanted to enjoy having his favorite cow, Daisy, back by his side. The following day, he would go to the animal services. As Bill got closer to the pen where animal rescue personnel kept the creature, his heart was racing from excitement. He'd spent the last few hours filled with curiosity, feeling like he was missing something big. When he spotted an animal rescue worker, he didn't waste time. "That's my cow Daisy that was involved, and I have a right to know what's happening." Bill, feeling frustrated, confronted the man about the mysterious situation involving his cow Daisy. The man hesitates but eventually reveals, off the record, that a wolf pup is involved. Daisy has somehow adopted the wolf, leaving Bill in shock. As wolves haven't been seen in the area for over a century, he racked his brain trying to figure out how a wild wolf could have wandered so far from its natural habitat. Over the next few days, Bill's curiosity got the better of him. After persistently requesting access, the animal services team finally allowed him to visit. The moment Bill entered the enclosure, the wolf pup hurried over to him, tail wagging eagerly. As he looked into its eyes, Bill better understood why Daisy had felt such a deep urge to care for this creature. Looking into the eyes of the wild yet innocent wolf pup, Bill knew things would never be quite the same on the farm again. It was clear the improbable bond that had formed with Daisy extended to him as well. When the day finally came for the wolf pup to be released from care, Bill did not hesitate. This wolf, though a creature of the wild, had found a home on his farm. So when the animal services team deemed the wolf pup healthy and strong enough to leave, Bill was there, waiting. Returning to the south pasture, Bill watched nervously as Daisy spotted them approaching. At that moment, Bill knew he had made the right choice. Daisy, the gentle cow, and the wild wolf pup had formed an extraordinary bond that defied the rules of nature. Bill couldn't fully explain it, but he didn't need to. All he knew was that their connection was real, and it was stronger than anything he'd ever seen. As the sun set behind the hills, casting long shadows over the pasture, Bill knew that this mystery was far from over. Thanks for joining me on this unbelievable journey. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to hear more amazing stories like this one. And remember, sometimes the truth is stranger than fiction.